it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
All right, here we go on our Thursday episode. It is Draft Day. That's right. I'm Timmy Hall. The Boatman is back there running things on the update desk. Austin Ward, we've got our Ohio State football expert in the house here tonight. Good to see you, Austin. We're going to actually hear from our buddy Tyvis coming up at 8 o'clock because we've got Cleveland Browns draft coverage. They are the holders of the number 2 pick, so that's a popular one right after we presume Cam Ward goes. We'll get to hear them take Travis Hunter, but we're going to focus on a lot of the Buckeyes that hopefully go in the first round tonight. I hope it's one or more, and I think we're going to get that. We'll get a prediction before the show is done. But yeah, big day for a lot of people.
I'm leaning towards the over as well, Timmy. We'll see what happens. It's that night, and it's one of my favorite nights. It doesn't require a ton of on the ground coverage from us here in Columbus. We'll let Tyvis do that with Cleveland, and the show will be on, and you can choose whether you're going to follow along on ESPN or NFL Network or wherever. But covering these guys for as long as they've been in the program, dating back to when they were high school recruits. I mean, I think the first time I met Jack Sawyer, he was 16 years old. So going through that, their journey, the adversity they all faced, the ups and downs, to end on that high note, and now a chance to, not just win a national champion forever at Ohio State, but to go on and make the next step. Hear your name called on draft night, whether it's tonight, whether that's tomorrow, whether that's Saturday, whether it's undrafted free agent on Sunday. These guys are accomplishing another lifelong goal. They will have made it to the NFL. That's what they all want to do when they sign up to go play for Ohio State. And it's a special moment for them, and it's special when you've got to know these guys and know everything they've been through, all the hours and hours and hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of work that goes into it.
It is the sound heard around the world tonight. And you're going to hear it 32 times.
At
32
least,
times.
right?
Maybe they play it when there's a trade before a pick.
Maybe that's what the Browns are going to do.
And I don't know how I would ultimately do this. It depends on every situation is different, right? But since there are no real top 10, even top 15 prospects for Ohio State in this draft.
Isn't that crazy, though?
It is. We could take a second to point that out. I've said that before. Michigan's going to have more guys taken before the first Ohio State guy goes off the board.
Yeah,
I think
Penn State might too.
Penn State's going to have a couple. I think that's almost a fact. You can never say a fact when it's the NFL draft, but that's almost the case here before. And there were some mock drafts that I saw only a month or 2 months out that had as many as 5 Michigan players going before the first Ohio State guy. I don't think that's going to hold true tonight, but I think that adds to what Ohio State just did. I think in this era that we're in, where everybody wants to point the finger at the bigger schools and say, this isn't as fun anymore, this isn't as fair as it used to be, you're just going to buy all the good players, you're just going to go get all the very best in the transfer portal, and you should win. Well, the fact that they don't have a transcendent NFL talent that is eligible, that they've got some that are still on the team and still have to play, are going to play a couple more years. But still, the fact that those guys are that young and all of these veterans and the guys that were critical to them winning and coming back, we don't have a top 15 pick here tonight.
Yeah, and I think, look, it's also a reminder of the way that the program handled its business in the offseason a year ago and the way that all of these draft-eligible Buckeyes at that time a year ago approached their careers. They made smart decisions. They could have been sitting there waiting till the 3rd, 4th, 5th round a year ago. They said, sometimes you have to swallow your pride. Sometimes it's about going to prove something. Sometimes it's, there's other factors involved. I don't think that the reason was the same for every single one of these Buckeyes involved, but they wanted to come back to accomplish something for whatever that reason was. And Ohio State stepped up to make it a conversation where you don't have to go right now. We can make this financially worth your while and give you the opportunity to develop and go chase a national championship. So I think it's a tribute to the program for what you're saying. You can say, wow, how did they win this championship without any top 10 picks or with only maybe 2 first-rounders, or maybe they won't even have 2. We'll find out tonight. Well, because they have 15 guys that are going to be picked in the 2nd through the 5th or 6th or 7th round, or 17 who might sign a deal overall by Sunday, you have a bunch
they will.
You have a bunch of mature men who are really gifted. And it's also the third part of that, Timmy, is there are only 32 spots in the first round, and every school is involved, and then every NFL franchise is looking for something specific. So it doesn't make it an indictment necessarily either. If Jack Sawyer is a second-round pick or Travion
he still had one of the best plays in Ohio State football history.
And it also still means that you are the 33rd or 45th most valuable person on the draft board if you get selected tomorrow night. Like there's no knock on that. And it's still meaningful. It is still significant. It is still a lifelong dream. But I do have that every year at this time. And then people start putting in mock drafts for next year. It's really hard to stay in that top 32 because a lot of those things aren't in your control.
Yeah, and it's just it obviously is crazy what's going on, and we'll talk about a get for Ohio State in the transfer portal. It's not like Ohio State can't be in that business and can't do it. They're going to lose their share of guys because things are so competitive here, and I understand some of that. There's a point, though, right, where it becomes too much, and I think with what Ohio State did with this national championship team, and because all of these players who are really good, and they were going to be professional football players, but the NIL cash, for some, that allure of just going to the NFL weighs more. And for some, it's understandable, right? But I think with what Ohio State has to sell those guys, like you just alluded to, that's a big thing because it's not just the money that you're going to point to. It's that experience of going after a national championship. And now those guys get to hold their heads up high every time they come back to town. And I know that that's got to be something that matters to them so much, maybe more than did I slide half around with my NFL projection.
Yeah.
Maybe those guys have the work ethic and the head screwed on tight enough where they're going to bust their butts to get it in that second contract if that's when the transcendent money is going to come. Because even the guys that don't get drafted, they have that opportunity to work and get it on the second contract.
And they may be better positioned to get to that second contract if you go in and you're more prepared to go play on day one as a rookie in the NFL level. If you've put in 4 years of work, whether you're JT Tuimoloau, whether you're Jack Sawyer, 5 years if you're Cody Simon, you may be better prepared to go through training camp than you were at this time a year ago. That might give you a clearer path to your second deal. But even if it doesn't, these guys didn't spend the last year playing for free, which is important as well. So if Jack Sawyer was a second-round pick last year and is a second-round pick this year, the difference between what those 12 months did for his future is pretty dramatic.
I was going somewhere near the beginning of the segment. Oh, was talking about... No, this was a perfect tangent to get off onto. As I was talking about being at the draft, or if I wasn't sure, if I was a prospect for Ohio State and I wasn't quite sure I was a top 15 pick, would you or would you not want to do your own thing, home base, or go to wherever the draft is this year in Green Bay and get to make that walk on stage? I understand how cool that could be. I respect Josh Simmons and everybody else that's choosing to be at home and have the draft party there.
I think that's what I would want to do. I mean, I'd be hitting up, the patio at the Ridge Golf and Gardens, or talking to
what a shout out!
Talking to
great.
Sip. One of my favorite places to be in Columbus. You have friends and family there.
You're good.
Just think about it. It's just an option.
You're good. I mean, you slide me a couple rounds. Like we'll
be out there.
Out there,
and then when or if, not for me personally, but Emeka's a big golfer. Pick your spot, go out there, hang out on the patio, get some of the wings, and then you're like, hey, when they call me, check out the publicity that you're going to get in return.
Man, that would be amazing. I mean, as far as when the draft hits, the daylight's going to be gone. But if I could get 36 holes of golf in on the day to take my mind completely off of that, and I'd have somebody. You can have my phone.
Yeah,
you answer. I pay you to answer my phone for the day. I'm not doing it.
I've covered a few guys who actually did that. They said it's too stressful. They didn't want to watch it. They didn't want to have a party. They didn't want to have people over. They wanted their family to be around. But they're going to call you on the phone when it's your time. So if you're just sitting there,
and you know about when that, you know about the time of day when that phone's going to ring, and I need to answer
and
that one.
And what area code might be calling.
Exactly.
You know what all that is going to be. So I've covered guys who've taken that approach. I've also been in the living room with guys who've been tortured all day long, watching every single pick on TV and it not going quite the way that they would have wanted. If you're offering me those two things, just have the phone in the cart and go play some golf.
We'll get back to some of these guys, but good luck. Travion Henderson, Emeka Ibuka, Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons, Tyleek Williams, JT Tuimoloau. That's a lot of names. They're not all going to go smart money, but any number of those guys could wind up being drafted in the first round tonight. Ohio State just got some needed depth to a position group that was really looking for it here in 2025. Details next. Austin Ward is in. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Fair skies, sunshine, but a risk of a shower and maybe a rumble of thunder in parts of central Ohio on this Thursday. Otherwise, we'll end around 80 degrees. Overnight, falling back to around 60 with mostly cloudy skies and light winds. Could see a morning shower on Friday, but a better chance of more widespread showers and a few storms Friday evening and Friday night. Highs in the upper 70s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
Just counting down the days to March Madness. Back to the Buckeye Show.
Timmy Hall, Austin Ward, all you fine Buckeye fans, it is draft night here tonight. I need to have my testosterone level high on draft night. I really do.
It's the perfect time for it.
That's why I see my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. This is an area that they are experts in. Let me tell you guys. Let me tell you. There's some things that you might notice about your life. If you're in your 20s, 30s, heading towards the big 4-0, you're losing 2 to 3% of your testosterone production every year. And it happens gradually. It's hard to notice it, but maybe you got a decrease in libido, you're putting on weight, you're sad or depressed more than you usually should be. Austin's working with me for the rest of the hour, so he's a little bit more sad and depressed.
No.
But
Don't put that's not what that ad says.
I just threw that in.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm going to shoot him with a shot, and then that feeling's going to go away, and he's going to be fine.
I didn't sign up for that.
He's going to be fine. So what you can do at Tri-State Men's Health, go to their website, tristatemenshealth.com, take the low T quiz. It's simple. It'll tell you some things. And right now, this is the best thing. Your initial visit includes a medical consult, the T and PSA test, and it is free. It is a limited time offer, so schedule it today. Bodie, how surprised was I to see this yesterday? Just a real
If
nice
I woke up tomorrow
surprise.
morning with my head sewn to the carpet, I couldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
It was tremendous. This is the gift that keeps on giving until this deal is gone. So it is great. 2 locations right here in Central Ohio, Westerville and right there in Hilliard. No need to wait. TriStateMen'sHealth.com. I've gotten them before. Shots right in the ace that take a millisecond and they don't even hurt. So, Austin, we are looking at the transfer portal.
Sure are.
What were your overall thoughts? Is it as bad as people have maybe been making it out to be? No, that the defensive line is in shambles. I think there's some good feelings about Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry and what these guys have shown. Even in the interior, you look at K-Mac and Edric Houston. Some bright spots last year. You want to add depth, though. You want to make sure that all bases are covered and create some competition. Being able to go in and get this guy, Beau Atkinson from North Carolina, these are the type of moves you want to see, right? And they did that.
It's a big deal for a lot of reasons. Again, was it in shambles? No. If you're talking about the starting lineup, the high-end potential with what you have anchoring in the middle there with Caden McDonald and Edric Houston, you feel really good about that. You've spent years waiting for Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson to get their moment. I think that they're ready for it. It's still, they've not had to be starters. They've not had to be frontline guys. They've never had to play 50 snaps in a game. So some of that is still a little bit of the great unknown. You've also already dipped into the transfer portal with Logan George. And I think by the time, the second half of spring camp rolled around and the spring game, he was looking more comfortable with the level of competition there. And you had CJ Hicks supplementing that. And I think having another fantastic spring and looking very much at home with that defensive line group. So you look at that and you say, well, what's the problem? Why is there so much conversation about it? It's the next line. It's the second wave where there's not that much depth, not nearly enough as Ohio State would like a defensive tackle. I thought that would be the first place that they would try and make a splash. But there's no reason not to take a swing on a guy like Beau Atkinson here because, as I'm saying that with all these others,
too.
He's 6'6".
6'6", almost 270. Power. He's a Raleigh boy, which means he's a good, clean boy. Yes.
And he's got proven production at the Power 4 level, a power program in North Carolina. So, he's got multiple years of development. He was a three 3 years ago, he was a 4-star recruit. Get my numbers correct there. Don't want to sell him short.
No, you're fine.
But he was...
Doesn't matter anymore.
Well,
matters coming up here now.
It does. I mean, it's a starting point. That's the way that people viewed his upside then, and he's had a chance to build on that, and I think largely lived up to it with the Tar Heels. 7.5 sacks a year ago. So do you have to go make that move if you're Ohio State? No. But if you do feel like there is a chance, and if it's a good fit, whether that's culture, whether that's playing time opportunity, whether you have the money available for it, all of the above, you have a bet on potential still in a lot of ways, even with a guy like Kenyatta, even with Caden, even with C.J. Hicks. You're betting on Logan George making that jump. So there's no harm in placing down one more chip on the roulette wheel. And this guy, I think, feels like a pretty safe bet for Ohio State to upgrade that. So that puts them in a much better spot. Again, they're still trying to play 16 games. You don't want to have to go through that with just 4 defensive ends that you can count on. So
you really don't want to do that in
any position.
If you're like Ohio State and you have that plan, you can't really be like that at any position. I mean, isn't that why they're still looking at offensive tackles?
Yeah,
because they feel really good about the 2 that they hit in the portal, but you still want to make sure that you're good beyond that.
Yeah, and you look at what happened with Ohio State. They were not as able to go be aggressive maybe, and land 5, 6, 7 guys that they may have needed to in the transfer portal window because they didn't know exactly what was going to leave while they were trying to win a national championship. So their window was shorter to both add and to deal with departures. And I think, Ryan Day mentioned that a few weeks ago when we were talking. He said, well, we're 2 off where we need to be at the offensive line spot. And they already made 2 pickups. They actually were anticipating the need there because you have Josh Simmons, Donovan Jackson, and Josh Fryer in the draft this weekend. So they're still going to be involved there, and they're still looking at defensive tackles. And I don't think there's a ton of
they had there
potential.
Was
there's
Syracuse.
They weren't really as involved.
Who is that? Murad Watson.
He
went to Texas. So you're going to see first game, but I don't even know if he'll be starting for Texas in that first game
because they're just splashing the pot for every defensive tackle down there at Texas. So I don't think that was all that serious on Ohio State's end. They are hosting, I think, starting tomorrow. Double checking with Berm on that. Troy Pikes from Georgia Southern. He's a defensive tackle. Another Georgia boy that they could put down there with Caden McDonald and Edric Houston potentially. But that's the spot where I still think that is number 1 on the shopping list. And if something materializes, I think you'll continue to see Ohio State look at this. And remember a couple years ago, Timmy, there were criticisms. Oh, Ohio State is too worried about feelings. They don't want to go out there and upgrade at positions. That's clearly not the case. They could have easily stood pat with the 4 guys that they've got at the top of the rotation at defensive end.
But there's been a lot of feelings about Larry Johnson over the last 2-3 years, mainly about guys that he's missed on the recruiting trail and some of the nonsense that has gone on in the last year that has since been smoothed over. But like you said, it has felt like Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson were like it's just time.
Yeah.
It's time. Like they've practiced hard, they've developed, they've become good players. When you talk about the size too, I'm picturing, this is nothing against Caden Curry. I actually have loved the way that he's played football and he's made big special teams plays too.
Yeah.
That have mattered a lot. But when you talk about 2 6'6" defensive ends, 1 on each side, like that's something that sounds kind of nice. Yeah, with Beau Atkinson and Kenyatta Jackson. So you got Beau, who comes over from North Carolina. You mentioned Logan George. Logan George was, I had to look it back up, an Idaho State Bengal. Do you know who the superstar, Beau, to you too? I had this came to mind right away. Last 20 years in the NFL, a superstar player was an Idaho State Bengal. I mean, that's mid-major college football. He played that position too. He's a defensive end.
From Idaho State.
From Idaho State.
Hit me with it.
Yep. It is one Jared Allen.
Oh, wow.
From the Chiefs and then the Vikings. And maybe the Panthers after that.
What a legacy.
Different teams.
The pipeline from Idaho State.
What do you think Jared Allen hit with sacks? He's well over 100, right? In his NFL career?
Wasn't he like top 10 all time?
Got to be close to top 10 all time, right?
115, I'm going to say.
115 sacks for Jared Allen.
That's my guess.
Let's see. 6'6", 270 pounds. Then he ride off into the sunset on a horse when he announced his retirement, cowboy hat and everything. He was probably back in Idaho when he did that.
Something in the water out there.
He has, boy, this is fantastic how I can read a stat sheet right here.
So good at it.
Where the hell are the sacks? 136. There we go. 12-year career.
My apologies to Jared Allen.
He was AP Defensive Player of the Year 4 times? My God.
At his peak, he was unblockable.
3 years in a row. 07, 08, 09, AP Defensive Player of the Year. That's pretty sensational.
But I think that's also the point here is that it's not Ohio State didn't go through spring camp, watch those guys play, and be like, you know what, it's not good enough. I don't believe that that's the case. They didn't anticipate someone like Beau Atkinson necessarily being available, that there would be interest. And I do think that there's just an element where you look at it and you're like, are you 100% sure that every single one of those guys are going to fulfill the potential? And the answer may still be yes. And even if it is yes, you would say, well, 5 is better than 4 in this case. And you're thinking about the roster numbers and getting through the year and rotation and attrition and all those things. Even when Ohio State got to the playoff last year, JT was dealing with ankle injuries. Guys are banged up. That's the way it goes. Like you have to be able to turn
be ready
to more. And the fact that none of these 4, I mean, Logan George has, but not at the national championship, not at the Ohio State level. None of these 4 guys have gone out there and done it 30, 40, 50 snaps at a time in a game, week in and week out. So that does differentiate Beau Atkinson a little bit differently, even though it doesn't mean that there is a lack of confidence in a Kenyatta, in a Caden, in a CJ Hicks, in a Logan George.
Is it tomorrow that the portal closes?
Yeah, the window is closing.
It's a shorter window here for the spring portal. The college basketball window that just ended was a lot longer. But once you're in it, if you're in the portal, it doesn't mean that all dealings and happenings end tomorrow. You're in the portal. There were thousands of players that jumped in, so it's going to take more time for
deadline to get in, deadline to get in, but not the deadline to get out.
Not to get out, right? It's the deadline to get in. If you're Sean Stewart for Buckeye basketball, you got in right at the very end. Like you decided, I'm done with this, even though these guys transferred in a week and a half ago. Now I'm gonna leave. Makes you think of all the conversations that have been had in that last week and a half about, I think I want to stay, but okay, maybe I should leave.
Well,
what winds up being
that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, boy. Ohio State's players, I did something last night. I want you to take a swing at this. We're going to do that in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Yo, this is Flavor Flav, and I am coming at you with one of my flavor faves, Raisin Cane's. So when you're looking for flavor fast, order in a flash, online or on their app. Raisin Cane's. One love.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is proud to be the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence Award for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource. Proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Brutus is their homeboy. This is the Buckeye Show.
Timmy Hall, Austin Ward, all you fine Buckeye fans. By the way, I'm an idiot. Jared Allen, no defensive player of the years.
Oh, man.
Those are all pro first teams.
That's almost the same.
I can't read ProFootballReference.com.
When you said that, I was like, that sounds like
that doesn't
a lot.
sound right.
But I
yeah.
know like J.J. Watt won, like he went like back to back, whatever, a couple times. So I was
That's
like, maybe
J.J.
Jared
Watt.
Allen just.
Jared Allen could have been good enough
It was
to
like
win
the entire
one.
decade was just J.J. Watt and Jared Allen, just like passing it back and forth.
I mean, he was a dude. He was
Jared, the Hall of Fame.
How did Jared Allen have 22 sacks in a season and not get Defensive Player of the Year? How's that possible? He finished second that year.
Sounds like J.J. Watt to me.
Dare I even try to click on this and see if it gives me something?
This could be anything.
2011 awards voting. Aaron Rodgers was the MVP.
Oh, wow.
Beat out Drew Brees. Offensive Player of the Year. This I can guarantee you I'm reading correctly. Drew Brees was Offensive Player of the Year. He went ahead of Aaron. Defensive Player of the Year, Terrell Suggs.
It was
from
good.
the Ravens.
Sizzle.
Yeah. Ball so hard university.
14 sacks to Jared Allen's 22. And
we're talking about a different position.
He had 2 interceptions. Jared Allen had a pick. He even had an interception that year.
All right. Well, let's retroactively give it to Jared Allen.
Yeah. Suggs, sorry. You lose that.
Sorry, it's gone.
It goes back to Jared. All right, I want to get some of the Ryan Day caught up with Dom Taberi in an interview that you guys have been seeing on 10 TV's YouTube page, on 10 TV Plus. And he's really excited, obviously, about all his guys getting ready to have their moment here today and all throughout the weekend. So I'll play a little clip from the interview here that we played last night on the show. And I want to see what players come to your mind after, because he's talking about how this is a program that really does get guys prepared for professional football. Here's Day.
Well, that's a big part of our recruiting conversations is the development part. And what's cool about this draft is, every position is going to get represented. I think other than, the specialists. You think about, quarterback, you got Will, you have the 2 running backs, you have G. Scott, you have the linemen, linebackers, safeties, corners. Every position is being represented. So we talk to our recruits, we talk about coming here to Ohio State, which isn't for everybody, thinking big. And that if you come in with that type of mindset that you want to be developed at a high level and you have an elite mindset, you're going to be in a locker room, a bunch of guys that have the same mindset. So that's what it comes down to. And to see these guys, come back for their senior year, put in another year, just going to make them better pros. And I use the example all the time of Devon Hamilton or Terry McLaurin, who did come back for 5th years. And you can argue, all right, how much did they move up in the draft? But that wasn't really the important thing. The important thing was that when they got to the NFL, they were ready. And now you're seeing 2 guys make their second contract and really make a big score.
So him mentioning Terry McLaurin's name made me think of another Washington Commander. And I was thinking about Buckeyes that have been lasting in the NFL. Maybe they haven't been superstars at the very, very top of the marquee. But I was thinking about names of guys that represented what he was talking about right there, of even if they weren't drafted, being around what they were around just made them ready for this.
Yep.
Like ready for the lights. And I thought of Noah Brown. I thought of the receiver that they chose over De'Ami Brown, who had a really good postseason and was catching ball after ball from Jaden Daniels. It was kind of out of nowhere. He wound up getting a nice deal. He got a $10 million 1-year contract, I think, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe it was the Panthers. Don't check me on that. But Noah Brown has not been making a ton of money, but hey, he's made $11 or $12 million of cash earnings in his NFL career. He's probably going on a decade right now.
Yeah.
And how many of those years in Dallas was he not catching a pass?
Right.
But he was a great football player because he understood what he had to do. And then the more you worked at it, you're going to get those opportunities. He had the season or 2 in Houston where he's doing some things as a receiver, and he's going to do some things as a receiver in D.C.
He is.
So what names? That's what I'm asking. Names like that kind of come to you, guys you remember covering here that have just hung on and had really long, solid careers.
I do think that the other name that Ryan Day dropped there, and I was going to talk about him anyway, but I won't belabor it because he mentioned Devon Hamilton.
Yeah.
But it does play into my thinking for what Ty Hamilton can become in terms of a long-term 10-year NFL pro, getting that second contract. Devon's he got the 3-year, $34 million deal to stick around there in Jacksonville. he's been productive. And that was something that even going into year 4, like, is Devon Hamilton going to become a starter for Ohio State? Is he going to flash? What is he going to become? And he stuck it out. The more time you put in, the more that you can survive, you keep your head above water in the weight room with Mickey Marotti, you're going to come out much stronger for it on the other side. If you put that work in, you generally get rewarded. So Devon is almost always one of those first guys that come to mind who doesn't become a regular part of the conversation. He's not earning all-pro honors. He's not been to a Super Bowl or things like that, but his journey is remarkable, and I saw a lot of similarities. Maybe Ty Hamilton sped up that process a little bit compared to his older brother, but I think he's a prime example of that.
And that's good for Ty.
It's very good.
It's good for Ty.
It's very good. Then they can look and say, well, that's the kind of work ethic that you're going to get, the longevity that you might get if you invest in this next Hamilton, this next one up. So he's one of the first ones that comes to mind for me. And Jerome Baker, when you threw out, the criteria here, even though he did not have, he was sort of wandering around in the wilderness a little bit
and he, I think, made a couple of bucks on one of those deals in the middle.
And they're still making him. I mean, he's
absolutely
signed with the Browns, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's sticking around. But I think you look back at him or Pete Warner when Ohio State was still trying to figure out what it wanted to do with position coaches, when it was having defensive coordinator and play calling issues, and linebackers were out of position and maybe not getting developed to the maximum potential. You still had to deal with the competition. You still had to deal with the mat drills. You still had to deal with Mickey Marotti. You still had to learn how to face criticism. You still had to learn how to compete at a high level every day in practice. None of that changed. Was Jerome Baker always put in the best spot when he was on the field? No, he definitely wasn't. But all the rest of that still development tracks when you look at now almost, 8 years into an NFL career. That does not happen by accident. So there's guys like that you point to. A Draymond Jones, same deal. Curtis Samuel,
with
same
the
deal.
Titans now.
Yeah,
Draymond Jones.
These guys have these opportunities. We'll probably be talking about Jordan Fuller in that way in a few years down the road.
Man, okay, there are a lot of good ones. There's another one that I just thought of, because for a lot of these same types of things, he wasn't on the marquee. He didn't produce any stats in the game, but he was on the field for 17 plays and was in the Super Bowl. We had him on the show because Tyvus played with him and was teammates. Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell, and he's with the Dallas Cowboys now. So he's just hopping all over that division.
Because he's always been a mature guy. And when you look at him physically, and he's been dealt a lot of bad hands in terms of injuries and setbacks, and every time it looks like he's about to explode, something else happens to him. And a lot of guys in Paris's situation would probably just tap out and say, that's it. I've given it my best shot. I don't want to face any more of this adversity. I can't face any more of this. I don't want to. But, Paris is another one of those really driven, faith-driven guys that have been through the program here, tight-knit group of support, and then this community. People want to keep taking chances on guys like that. And if you've come through Ohio State and continue to fight through that, and you also have the clear athleticism, you're going to keep getting as many opportunities as you want.
I was actually pleased to hear just how damn proud he was of being a part of that Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't catching passes and putting up stats, because a lot of people would probably try to look at someone like that and say, oh, you didn't have much involvement in that. That's BS. It really is. Even the practice squad guys, if those players know in their hearts that they're giving it everything that they've got, and they're doing that for a championship team, then you have every bit as much of a right to take pride in that. In something that was done.
Yeah, and you started this segment, Tim, talking about Terry McLaurin. So in a lot of ways, the production has flipped. Terry was the guy getting snaps and helping on special teams in college.
As a college player, and didn't get to put up the fantastic numbers.
Which Paris was getting to do, and Paris was getting to throw up the deuces in the big house and winning these games and getting a lot more attention and had clearly defined roles. It hasn't worked for him at the same way at the NFL level, but he knows, he was in that same room, that you don't always have to be touching the football on every single snap to make an impact for your team. Because he was in there with Terry McLaurin.
Right.
And he was in there
with it.
In there with KJ Hill and in there with Austin Mack. It's all these guys that you know what it takes to get it done. And that was a great room.
Those who stay will be champions. those who go to Philly could be champions, even though I think that sucks.
Not Dallas, though. Sorry.
Well, now he's going to Dallas.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
You
Sorry,
got your
Paris.
ring.
Hey, he's
no
a
Super Bowl this year.
He's a culture changer. He's going to upgrade it in Dallas, all
I
right?
need a miracle to change that culture down there.
Going to be a big pile of miracles out there in Dallas. He's going into year 7. And he hasn't taken a year off.
Nope.
Like, he's been through injuries, right? But he's going into year 7 in the National Football League. You guys should just take a gander at how many Ohio State Buckeyes are in the NFL. I mean, it is a long, healthy list. It's all guys that have various roles.
Every position is covered. You can build a team out of the Ohio State NFL guys, and that's going to be supplemented over the next 3 days because, as Ryan Day has talked about, and we all know, like, every single spot has someone that could, should, will be drafted this weekend.
I didn't think that this was that big of a change, but for people like Adam King, who sits over there with 10 TV, sports anchor reporter, and others, apparently it is something near and dear to their hearts. That's next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
When your boy Flavor Flav counts from 3, you're going to go to Cane's and you're going to order hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers. 3, 2, 1. Raising Cane's. One love.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through April 30th, get 4.99 APR financing on a rugged new 25 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped TRD Sport for $369 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic, you know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Trying our best to make Tyvis Powell raise his voice at least 3 octaves. Are you serious, Tim? You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light.
Timmy Hall, Austin Ward here tonight. Tyvis, who you just heard, are you serious? He is going to be doing some Cleveland Browns draft coverage, which you will hear at 8 o'clock, 8 to midnight. They're going tonight.
Bum.
I don't have the thing up right now.
I just did it.
But I will. So
nailed it.
There's another thing I need to tell you guys about with Tri-State Men's Health. Low testosterone experts, also an expert at getting rid of your friend Ed. ED.
Mr. Ed.
Mr. Erectile. Yes. Mr. Dysfunction. You do not want him. But boy, that is something that can cause a lot of problems with a lot of men out there. It's a terrible condition. It causes stresses in relationships. It creates anxiety and undue hardships on a man and often on their partner. And many men will suffer for years without seeking treatment because they might just feel a little too embarrassed to get up and do so.
No more.
You don't have to feel embarrassed. That's why we've been talking about it day after day, night after night. So go to tristatemenshealth.com. Take a peek around that website. They got treatments with success rates over 90%. Dear God. They got lovely locations right here in Central Ohio, Hilliard and Westerville. And right now, the initial consult is free. It's free. It's better than you expected. Yes. So schedule that consult. Get in there. It's a limited time offer. So schedule it today.
Wow. No cost.
Have fun beating up Ed. Have fun. TriStateMen'sHealth.com.
Tell him to take a hike.
Get out of here, Ed. Ha ha. So, draft day, draft night. Did you watch the movie at all? I had it on background noise this morning.
I've never watched it.
I think it's good for what it is. It's Kevin Costner. Come on. Chadwick Boseman, Vontae Mack. We got a Buckeye that goes, and the plan is just is utterly ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, but it's so confusing. Bodie, I know you like the film too. We've joked about it.
I think it's great.
Every time
it's
near the end.
It's a sports film.
But
there's no way Bodie hasn't watched it 100 times.
He loves it. Look at him. But I reached that point where I have to say, is this guy a genius or is he still an idiot? And he's still an idiot because it comes down to it where he trades 3 number 1s and then 3 number 2s. He had number 7 to start the movie. He had pick number 7. He got to number 1 overall, but he took a guy in Vontae Mack that maybe was a fringe first rounder. So he could have just taken him and then maybe traded up late in the first round and gotten him. He got Arian Foster and Vontae Mack. That's what he wound up with.
He wasn't looking for the best players, Tim. He was looking for the right ones.
And he still traded the 3 number 2s back. He just stole all the first rounders back from the poor Seattle dude. And he told him he was a pancake-eating mofo.
He got the real Arian Foster?
He got real Arian Foster and Chadwick Boseman.
Was he speaking pterodactyl in that?
That's who he got on his team.
Well, I guess that must be the most true-to-life thing of that film, if the Browns are out there just wasting draft capital for no reason whatsoever.
I think it's great. There's
I feel like I've seen it because like all the clips are always on.
The clips are out there. I think it's Frank Langella is the owner, and he declines the offer from the Seahawks dude. You'd recognize the actor who plays the Seahawks coach. I can't give it to you right now, but you'd know him. And he's eating his pancakes and he's offering him number 1 pick. Like you get to have Beau Callahan. You get to save football in Cleveland, Sonny. Don't be an idiot. Your farm system sucks, pal. Like, take Beau Callahan. And he declines the offer. And then the owner gets to him, and he finds out about it. And they're at like SeaWorld or something. There's no Sea. What kind of water park do they have? What kind of aquarium deal do they have up in Cleveland where they were sitting?
Just the lake.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson was jumping in the lake, creating splashes.
I did see. I looked at the cast. I did not realize Diddy was in that movie. So another great reason to check it out.
Oh no! I think Diddy was Arian Foster's dad.
Oh, his dad.
I think he was.
How about that?
He's got the phone, like he's all excited about it.
Oh no!
Or maybe Terry Crews was Arian Foster's dad. He's in it too. So it's a lot. But
wow.
Frank Langella tells him like how he needs to get the picks back. He's like, Sonny, people want to sit in the front row because they want to get wet. Just make a splash, Sonny. Just the way he says it. It's disgusting.
What kind of film is this?
It's great. It's great. You may as well just watch.
I wouldn't call it Kevin Costner's best, but it's good.
I mean, I think I did Field of Dreams and Bull Durham.
I saw right before I came in. It was like, are the Browns going to make a move tonight? And it said, Vontae Mack, no matter what, or whatever Kevin Costner's got written down.
That's on the note.
It's like I've seen so many clips, I might as well have seen the movie, but you're teaching me a lot. If my guy, Arian Foster, is in there, I might have to check it out.
It was a really bad draft for Sonny Weaver. I mean, he did a lot to just do what he could have done the entire day. He really wore himself
Sometimes
out.
It helps to just stand pat.
Yeah, he wore himself out for nothing. That's what he did.
My great friend Nicole Cox from Roosters loves draft day. She's like, this is my favorite time of it. Yeah, and she talks about it too. So I've heard about it from her all the time. She's like, this movie is so great. Like, Austin, you have to watch it. And I'm like, no. She knows I don't know that I want to.
She's a sweet gal.
She is. She's the best. That's why I got this Roosters hat on right now.
So, and that's a good hat. I recognize who makes that hat, because it's a brand. I've seen that hat in golf shops across the country.
I believe it's Branded Bills.
Branded Bills?
Yeah.
Because it's got like the holes in it for sweat wicking.
Oh, yeah.
Little nylon poly blend. What a clean hat that is for Austin.
You can't get better than that.
So we got the draft coming up. We're looking forward to seeing guys like Travion, Emeka Ibuka, Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons, maybe guys like Tyleek Williams and JT Tuimoloau. Quinshon Judkins, Jack Sawyer, second-round options. Middle rounders, Will Howard, Lathan Ransom, Denzel Burke, Ty Hamilton, Jordan Hancock, Cody Simon, Seth McLaughlin. And then the hopefuls, G. Scott and Josh Fryer. That's how they could get to 17. That's how they could break Georgia's record in 22 of 15 picks. So, Austin, real quick, I saw this. Adam King has now, he's got a uniform when he's not wearing his suit. I like to see it now. He's not just wearing the suit 100% of the time when he's not doing the news. He'll put his shirt and jacket back on. He wears a Rose Bowl hoodie. He's giddy.
He's obsessed with that hoodie.
He's as giddy as a schoolboy on the notion of the Rose Bowl, the fact that he got to go and cover it, that he got to go out there. He signed up for some club just so he could get a hat. Like, that's what he was doing.
He bought the brick.
He bought a brick just so he could get a hat. So great.
The Rose Bowl sent me a hat for free. I didn't have to buy a brick.
Wow,
so.
That's special.
And I don't speak very kindly of the Rose Bowl normally, and I won't after you say what you're going to say either.
Well, a lot of people are upset that the Rose Bowl is moving up an entire hour in kickoff. Like, a lot of people like that. It's near and dear to their heart. Someone like Adam maybe didn't want to see that sunset happen later. They want to get that sunset right where it is, but they're bumping it up to 4 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. So 1 o'clock out there instead of a 2 p.m. kickoff. So it said the College Football Playoff and ESPN have announced dates, kick times, and broadcast info for the playoff quarterfinals, semis, and the national championship game for the 25-26 edition. And then right there in the graphic, everybody pointed out, oh, interesting, 4 p.m., Thursday, January 1st. Orange Bowl's at noon. All-State Sugar Bowl is at 8 o'clock. Why do this?
Why do it?
Why are we doing this?
For the sake of college football. The Rose Bowl has been the single biggest impediment to progress of the college football playoff that exists.
What is 1 hour on one? If we're not changing anything up about the calendar, what does 1 hour do?
This is actually a sign of progress from them that they have given 1 hour of their time away. Thank you, Rose Bowl, for helping everyone out by giving away 1 hour and maybe having to adjust when the sun sets. Yeah, it is beautiful. And guess what? The Rose Bowl is awesome when the sun is shining on it, too. It's one of the most picturesque places that you're ever going to be. The turf is amazing. But the fact that they have been so adamant that they must be part of the college football playoff, and they must be part of the college football playoff on January 1st at this specific time, is what has created a bunch of other issues in terms of the timing of the playoff.
There's more issues coming.
Well, but that's why I'm saying,
more issues coming, so they might have to give up some more.
That's what I'm saying. At least they have finally given up 1 hour, 60 minutes of their time. If they are going to come to the realization at some point that they either need to get off of the date, if they want to host specifically, or I would be fine if the Rose Bowl in the Sugar Bowl or Orange Bowl or whatever, if one of those is a permanent semifinal host and the Rose Bowl is always at 4 o'clock, fine, so be it. But that would have to be a semifinal, and everybody else is going to have to move up time into December, because taking this season into January 20th or beyond in 2 years in Las Vegas is bad for college football.
Bad. You know, they could do all this stuff. They could be sticklers. I still want to go there. I want these eyes. This is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. Right, Bodie? I want to get out there. Right. I want to see it. What number is he wearing? It's Rudy. He's right out there, Dad. Rudy could have never played in the Rose Bowl. No way. You're too small. Why even think about playing in the Rose Bowl? You idiot. All right. We got draft night. I say 3. I'm going to go Travion, Donovan Jackson, and Josh Simmons is going to sneak in, maybe to the Chiefs. And they're going to miss on Emeka because GMs are stupid.
No, Emeka will be the second Ohio State player taken. I hope it gets to 3. Right. Donovan, I think Travion is more likely a second-round pick in my mind, but I hope they all get what they want this weekend. As long as you hear your name called, that's the goal.
It's the best non-game sporting event in the whole year. It's not a game, but it's the outside of that.
Not a game.
Best, not a game. Not the game that I love, but the best event outside of that. Austin Moore, thanks a lot for sitting in, man.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yep, we will see you soon. Bodie, thank you. We've got the NFL Draft Preview Show. Scotty Vegas and Bid standing by at Hollywood Casino Columbus. It's next on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.